maybe they're trying to sneak up on the gates of St Albans. Maybe that's why the gun was silenced.
So yes, ladies and gentlemen, you've got to use your imagination. Here you are actually looking at St Albans rather than an empty field. But if we put the town here, you wouldn't be able to see the soldiers fighting in it, so we took it away again.
1461, and we're in St Albans Marketplace.
St Albans, like 10,000 on each side, probably. Lancastrians are doing. That's actually quite difficult.
And a small skirmish ensues. A few arrows being popped across there as well. Just a little bit of harassing shooting. We've got another unit of men coming at some speed across the field there. I can see the banner flying.
As you can see, the troops are gradually filtering themselves into the battle. They're not rushing because they've got to try and work out what they're up against and how many.
The Lancastrians now taking the field at quite some speed. So Lord Trollope there shouting he needs assistance and he needs it right now. The Lancastrian handgunners I can see are busy loading as well, so things are going to get quite noisy quite quickly.
River is the predominant way of killing the other side, but at the moment in hand to hand, and it's very unpleasant.
Well, little do the Yorkists know, I believe the Duke of Somerset is about to take the field. I can see his colours there. The gentleman with the very fine mustachios, who is waiting. There we go. He's saluting you from the crowd line. The King's just standing there. Poor King Henry doesn't know quite what's going on. Just standing there, peacefully, thinking, what a lovely day it is. I wonder what all the noise is all about. I think that's charming. It's a very good thing for a king to do, I feel.
Numbers always tended to be exaggerated in medieval times for reasons you don't quite really know. Perhaps it just sounded better when they were writing it down. So the armies could have been smaller. They could have been between. Yes, indeed. It's Somerset with Trollope. They're the key command. The Earl of Suffolk and Captain Lovelace. And I think Suffolk on their right and Lovelace on the left.
Suffolk has the black and white plumes in his helmet, red cross on blue and white.
Very fine accent there.
Lovelace has got the white saltire on the black background.
So the troops have moved down the field to engage. Let's see if they can push the Yorkists out right up the sharp end. But conversely, it did mean you couldn't see what was happening elsewhere. You didn't have an overview. And as we'll see this afternoon, that can go horribly wrong when you don't know what is happening on the rest of the battlefield. And the Yorkists seem to be pushing the Lancastrians back up the slope.
You see, the Lancastrians have got the advantage in at the top of the slope, haven't they? Because it's much easier to fight downhill.
Always. If you can get the high ground, you're in the best position to fight the battle.
You see that it's generated almost as a hand-to-hand brawling. If you look at the troops.
Well, when it comes down to it, it's not very subtle, is it? It doesn't really matter how you...
That's what I said.
Stabby.
Ooh, almost hit on the back of the leg there. That's a hamstring you. That would be very unpleasant.
Very nasty if it can cut through the armour. The important thing, of course, ladies and gentlemen, at this time is for your troops to retain their order, not to fight individually, but to fight as a block of soldiers. It's not like Vikings or, I don't know, knights just charging around for glory. This is about disciplined bodies of troops, because of, there's no point in aiming one of these things, just point it in the general direction of the enemy and hope to hit them and not your own men.
The fight will be freshening up there towards the middle of the block.
See the archers on the wings as well, shooting at each other. One or two of them have got the range. Well, we've got one casualty down, shot with an arrow.
Yorkists engaging with the Lancastrians there on the right flank, taking it into them.
We are.
They are trying very hard to keep the Lancastrians out of St Albans. At the moment they're doing a reasonably good job of it, aren't they?
They are actually, considering they're still outnumbered. The Lancastrians now falling back up the slope. And the Yorkists are falling down the slope. Now, this is quite sensible because contact fighting is very, very exhausting. And as I said earlier, if you're tired, you make mistakes and you get killed. So the commanders know this and will draw their... Well, they could always just run through the town, I suppose. But it's ignominious, isn't it? It looks like they're going to still make a fight of it, despite the fact they're now horribly outnumbered. Now, what this means, ladies and gentlemen, is the Lancastrians can send waves of troops in, fight the Yorkists, withdraw them so there's time to rest, and then send another wave in, so the Yorkists don't have any time to rest. And this is not looking good. Imagine the Earl of Suffolk is actually horrified by what's happening now. What Lovelace done? Why has he done this? Why has he deserted me? So the Lancastrians are sending the first wave in against the embattled Yorkists, who are now really have no choice but to stand and fight, even though they're completely outmatched. And now is the time the casualties will start to mount, because these Yorkist troops will start to get very tired.
The second wave going in there.
Yeah, so no respite whatsoever for the Yorkists. The second wave going in. And there's a third wave waiting in reserve. If I was the Yorkists now, I would, oh dear, I wouldn't know what to do.
Turning around, changing the pads and running.
Absolutely, or perhaps they should change sides. I don't know what's going to happen there. Imagine the Earl of Suffolk is actually horrified by what's happening now. What Lovelace done? Why has he done this? Why has he deserted me? So the Lancastrians are sending the first wave in against the embattled Yorkists, who are now really have no choice but to stand and fight, even though they're completely outmatched. And now is the time the casualties will start to mount, because these Yorkist troops will start to get very tired.
The second wave going in there.
Yeah, so no respite whatsoever for the Yorkists. The second wave going in. And there's a third wave waiting in reserve. If I was the Yorkists now, I would, oh dear, I wouldn't know what to do.
Turning around, changing the pads and running.
Lancastrians seem to have committed virtually all their force, and the Yorkists will start to disintegrate unless they're much harder than I think.
The Yorkists are still fighting, but they're starting to go down.
Oh yes, casualties now.
And if you're on the ground, that's when you get a kill. Oh dear.
Yeah, he's
A
dead.
stab through the eye slits, or a smash to the chest with a...
Swift dispatch.
Oh, this is not looking good at all. Another one's down. Slaughter. Slaughter.
And now 2 units of men going into what's left of the poor beleaguered Yorkist army.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you are taking sides in this battle, but it does look like the Lancastrians are winning.
Lord Montague has just been captured, I just see down in the
Has he?
distance.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so
interesting. So Montague, one of the Yorkist
Yorkist, yeah.
commanders, has been captured.
yeah, he's been captured. And of course it's safer to keep him, better to keep him alive. The Yorkist archers running, the remainder of the Yorkist troop has actually just left the field.
Yeah, they've just legged it,
They
which is
have
very
just run
sensible
away.
of them. And now all that's left on the field is the dead, the dying, and the victorious Lancastrians, who are standing around thinking, oh, how did we do that? That was great.
The Montague there, just limping, you can see, with the plumes in his helmet, just limping across there.
Well,
I suspect he may not live very long.
Well, it's quite possible, because in the Wars of the Roses, quite often enemy commanders were summarily executed. Let's see what happens to him. They might let him off. Oh,
Depends on how
look,
much
he's
he's
kneeling
worth.
down.
Oh, that's a big
Oh
one.
dear, this doesn't look good, does it? So, it really depends on whether the Earl of Suffolk is feeling pleasant and nice today or not. Let's see what he does. So he's bringing him forward. Montague's being brought forward.
Well, somebody will have to make the executive decision to execute him, won't
Yes.
they?
Actually, it does look like they're just going to hold him captive. They haven't thrown him to the ground or... No, it looks like he's got away with it. That's unusual, I have to say. So, the troops are coming out, and it's the end of the battle. The Lancastrians are very, very happy. So, how about you give the Lancastrians and the Yorkists the hugest cheer that you can? And now the oh, they just knocked Montague to the ground. Oh dear. Oh no. Look at that. Oh, they're giving him a kick. Oh dear. Poor old Montague. They haven't killed him though, they've just kicked him around a bit. He's got off lightly actually. Oh.
And the king now is being brought across the field.
Yes, so they found Henry the
Henry
Sixth.
VI, yeah.
Here's the king. He probably doesn't know he's king, but then
The men all take a knee. We have his wife, Margaret of Anjou. We have his young son, Edward, now coming to be reunited with Henry.
For God and Henry!
Henry telling his rosary as he comes across the field. Does he actually recognise his wife and his son? His wife runs to him, embraces him, and he embraces her back.
Oh, that's nice. He actually knows who his mum is. That's got to be good.
Greets his young son, 8 years of age. The young son carrying the white feather, greets his father affectionately.
So what a spectacular turnaround. Only like an hour ago, Henry VI was a captain of the Yorkists, and now he's reunited with his family, and he has an army. Well, what about that? So, ladies and gentlemen, how about a huge cheer for the Lancastrians? And now, the magic bit. By the power invested upon me, I will ask the dead to arise. And while they do, cheer the Yorkists.
Oh, we have someone being knighted on the battlefield as well. We have, so we have Trollope being knighted on the
Oh,
battlefield.
that's splendid. Well, he's done very well today. That's good. So he's now super. That's good.
And Margaret is now negotiating, I believe, for Montague's life, maybe?
Maybe. Well, Montague. Oh,
And the young prince is being brought forward, and he's carrying that feather still. I have a feeling this feather may signify something.
right, dear. What's he going to do? Oh dear. Montague's on his knees
Montague's
again.
down. The young Edward is being asked a question.
Oh, he's
The young-
asking Edward whether to kill him or not.
The young boy, 8 years of age, is being asked whether this man should die or live. That is quite something to ask an 8-year-old.
Looks like Montague's begging for his life.
Pleading for his life, isn't he?
Pleading for his life. Oh, and he's allowed to get. He's been
Oh,
pardoned.
he's been pardoned.
Well.
Well, what mercy that young prince has just shown.
Absolutely. This is one of the rare cases of mercy towards an enemy commander during the Wars of the Roses, I have to say. He's still early on though, it's only 1461, and he got the wrong way round. There's still another 15 years to run before the end of these wars. So, well, it's a sort of reasonably happy ending for Montague. He'll no doubt be ransomed for a large sum of money and told not to be a naughty boy and fight for the Yorkists again.
I do have on good authority, if the young prince had dropped that white feather, Montague's fate would have been somewhat less pleasant.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
just what he didn't then, isn't
Yeah.
it?
My lords, ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause for the royal party, please?
And the king is, of course, Henry, the sixth of his name, by the grace of God, King of England.
And can we have a round of applause, please, for the reenactors of the Second Battle of St Albans here at Barnet today.